Hello my audience, today I'm going to be giving you a talk in the Miami Wise ways. Listen to it again, Miami Wise ways. So, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions about being a human being in this world. Let's start at the root and at the basics of human life. How should a human being in this world relate to other human beings? To other human beings' habits, their choices, and how should all of this be reflected back in your own life, your own choices, and your own style? I'm going to say that I have tried a lot of different ways to go about life. And why I decided on the Miami Vice theme over here is that it has a certain style, and there are the remnants of the older American ways to go about life. But it's starting to become more modern, And what defines modernity is that people don't usually go to others' territory to fix their problems or to kill people because of differences in opinion of what we should choose or how we should habituate our life. Of course they do sometimes still in the modern world, but when you define societies like Finland, that's probably how you would define it. And is it very style? I don't know. I believe that there's a style way that you can go and intercept some other life. That's my own idea. But if I'm a YouTuber, you have seen a lot of YouTubers that are, very demanding of their audience. And there's probably also YouTubers that don't really give a shit about their audience in a sense that they want to make their audience any better or help them grow. They just want to be entertaining, or maybe they might even, have harmful intentions for their audience. I don't know, but if you watch somebody like Custom Grow 420, he's not there for you, to at least get you off of addiction and this kind of stuff. So it's a very good question related to Miami Vice. What defines, this time, with these kind of lights and these kind of suits? Well, the fedora wasn't around, I think, in the 80s, no longer. Maybe in some circles. But what defined this time was like cocaine and partying and that one Ferrari model, that white one with the angular design and DeLorean, that car. And there's the whole music scene, synthwave, that was made around this theme and this style and this idealization of this culture when the America was kind of like on the boom. And yeah, it might have been, great times, but also it was the beginning of modern times. And I'm not sure if that was such a great thing. I didn't live there and I didn't live those times, so I have no idea. But did people have a different way to be in their life? What I can say is that when you are trying something different from people around you, I'm pretty certain that in my town, nobody's going for what I'm going. Nobody else. It's very rare. And it kind of gives me this pressure. Like, how should I relate to other people then? You know, should I just adopt this mindset that that's their life and that's their choices, I should make my own and be done with it? It very easily, this kind of mindset, you know, makes you pretty isolated. You know, you just start to like go in another direction. Should it be that I should enforce my own like choice and idea on other people, or should I just, you know, enforce it on myself? You have seen on my YouTube channel a lot of stuff that I enforce this stuff on myself because I don't want to change in the direction of the people that are those others. I don't want to become like them. So I enforce my choices and my standards on my channel. You know, but if I would come and I would meet you in real life, I wouldn't do that in real life, because that's beside the point in real life. You know, I don't want to get tangled up this way. And if we try to kind of understand relationships next, like if you start to become a little bit tangled with some people and their ways, and you try to change people, how stylish that, and how good do you feel about yourself? What I have noticed is that when you become too kind of not influenced, but when you are in too much contact with bullshit that you deem bullshit around you, it starts to get on you. I would say that limit exposure to this crap that doesn't really vibe with your values. I used to be very into this synthwave scene, but now when I think about it, do I really agree with the values of that scene? Like, what are the values of that scene really? At least it's not very spiritual type of, you know, way to think about life. And it's very, you know, much a cultural, you know, creation of a certain time. Is there style in that? Is there something that you should pursue in that? You have seen me kind of pursue different styles on my YouTube channel. I did the black metal thing, and like my current, you know, stylist has some jazz into it. But I don't really listen to jazz, or I don't really listen to any music anymore. And I feel that music is one of those things that undercover infiltrates into your life and kind of brainwashes you to like adopt this idealization of certain values, whatever they might be. And I don't know if that's such a style thing either. So if we come back to how the human being should be in this world, then what is really the thing that we should be going for? At least I think over here is that the human beings should try to find those solutions that other people's bullshit doesn't irk them too much. That's at least one thing I have realized. But one other thing is that you should probably try to minimize the exposure to this crap, at least somewhat, if you can. That's one other thing. So that you don't kind of follow these other people where they are going. You don't really have to think about this question if you're just going where other people are going, you know? You don't have to think about how to be in the world. You just mirror what you see. And that might be okay for you, but it's not okay for me. And it makes life very, I'm going to say much a gamble, because you are going to do stuff that you don't see done around you, and there's also always some caveats related to it. But when you look around you, do you want to get, those side effects and those caveats that are related to the normal or the usually chosen way to go about life? Is that what you want then? If not, maybe this video can kind of get your brain going, because it's very much a deep question. The way that people are in their life, I mean, the way I should be or the way that I am, is such a deep and fundamental question to your own self, but it's also such a deep and fundamental question to everything related on this planet Earth. And it's never for certain, actually, like how we are. It's never for certain, and we can change somewhat, but when a person comes into room, you understand the way they are. You kind of get it from without them even having to come to give you a fucking lecture on it. You can get it from them. The way they are in this life. Their basic mentality behind their life. And I'm going to say that experiences, some very hard experiences, can shape this. But it's not something that you can choose like you can choose a brand of chewing gum. It comes through not even trial and error, the changes in this. And then you can ask a question like of tolerance. Like, what will you tolerate? If this is not your choice, for example, me, I'm very much against the use of alcohol, and I'm not really such against the use of certain drugs, but I'm really against using them myself, And I wouldn't become a person that would work with these addicts very closely. Why is that? Because I don't deem that something worth doing. Not because there's nothing of value in these people. Of course there is. But I wouldn't want to get involved in that kind of stuff, because I deem that that's not a style thing to do related to these addicts. And I also understand now from my own journey that life is so complex that I wouldn't want to be the person that takes on the karma of deriving or guiding this person in this new direction. I wouldn't want to be that person. What I would say is that the olden ways, for example, Buddhists, their way to deal with addiction is much more stylish than the modern ways. Probably also much more effective. At least that's what I experienced in my life. So we try to isolate this, and we make somebody called a therapist. A therapist has had to think about his own way of relating with the world so much more. And it's mostly related to certain results that we want to seek. But then you can also ask that question, is the way that I want to be and the way that I be in this world just related to what I kind of desire and seek, like effects in other people and this kind of stuff? Is this very style? What is the reason that people change their ways? For example, from being the gentlemans of the old to being the fucker types or the modern types of the current age? Like, what is the reason why people changed like that? I have no idea. I have no idea. But they did. They did. And you cannot really say they didn't. It's a big change. Happened like that, undercover. So what is your ideal then? Like, how would you want to be as an ideal? Nowadays there's still those people that deem that Jesus was like the perfect example of how to be in the world. Most of them are not very Jesus-like, but they deem that that's the perfect ideal of how to be in the world. I'm not really sure if it is. I kind of think that we haven't actually found this perfect way to be in the world. And I also think that it kind of changes with the time. I mean that you try something, a new way to be in the world, to kind of be able to relate to other people better, but then you rebound, you know? And what I notice in my life is that most, you know, like the hardest disputes that come about are usually related to choices, like, you know, for example, with the example of the alcohol. I really disagree with it nowadays. So I would come into disputes with these people at some point over this stuff, because I don't just agree with that. So I limit my exposure to people that use it. But in Finland it's very hard because it's so prevalent. It's everywhere in this society. It's not actually everywhere, but it's used a lot and it affects people. So you have to take into consideration that if you change your basic way of relating to other people, there are still those chemicals and dependencies and addictions and everything like that that you have to deal with still. People won't change with you, you know? So what do? I had a period where I was really hateful, you know, against, you know, well, the environment that I have to live in. Then I kind of changed and try to be more tolerant. And now I'm kind of taking a step back and I'm evaluating again, like, what is the right way to go about this. And I don't have the answers over here. I think that most people are puzzling and they are trying to find the way to be in this world. But if it comes to the question of style, like, what is the stylist way to be in this world? I think it's kind of like that guy who just goes to this person, and all of a sudden you see the guys ended up in New York. Or the guy ended up at the top and left everybody behind. But everybody knows the guy, you know? I think that that's pretty style. Kind of like Teflon, you know? Nothing sticks to him. Yeah. I think that I'm going to try to be like that guy. Thanks for watching this video. How to be in this world. Deep stuff.